Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of the hex nut assembly. This tutorial we're going to be creating the bolt, the washer, and then components from each and then assembling them. So to start with, we're going to create a new sketch and we're going to select the top plane. I'm just going to select the top plane over here and we'll select the top plane and we're going to create a circle. I'm going to create that as 25 millimeters and hit OK. So from that, we're going to extrude up 8 millimeters. And if we look now, we should have the top there. If we might just turn off the hex nut view, so that's not interfering with what we're doing. So we're going to rotate and go underneath here, and we're going to create the thread. So a new sketch, we're going to choose the face we want to create the sketch on, and circle, we should be able to snap there to the center, and I'm going to create 12 millimeters. Okay, finish sketch, and we're going to extrude that down. This is up to you. I'm going to say 40 millimeters, and then make sure that's a join. So distance, yep, 40 millimeters. We're going to join, hit OK. So we've now got the basis of our bolt. We're going to add a thread to that next. So we go down to thread and select where we want to put that. And we're going to make sure this is right hand this time. We had a left hand for the nut. ISO profile, yes, 12 millimeters. And we're going to change that to 12 times 1. Once you've done that, you're also going to select modeled and hit OK. So we've got our thread created now. And we're going to create this as a socket button screw. So we're just going to create the socket first. So again, new sketch. You're going to select our face. We want to create that sketch on. And a circle. We're going to say, so select that middle point, and we're going to say, again, let's go 8 millimeters. Okay. Yep, and we're also going to create a point in the middle. This way we're going to create our polygon in there. So create that point and then back to create and polygon. So starting at that center point, we're going to go out to the edge. You can see there when it's got the X, it's snapped to the edge. So select that and then just hitting escape there to get out of that view. I'm going to select this top edge there of the hexagon and I'm going to align that horizontal vertical. Once you've done that, finish sketch and go back to that point there and we're going to extrude. So we're going to extrude, select all our faces. I'm holding down the shift. I'm going to select all the different faces I want to extrude. So all of my polygon. And I'm going to go minus 8 millimeters this time. So that should go down, making sure we've got distance minus 8 and our operation this time is not join but to cut. So once that's selected, okay. Excellent. So now we've got the top, our little socket, and we're going to edit the button by adding a fillet to this edge. And the fillet I'm going to do, I'm going to try 7 millimeters. And I'm just going to have a look and see how that looks. So this should sort of have a washer type end up here as well. So to me, that looks pretty good. You can adjust that to however you like. If you wanted to, see what it looked like as a 5 millimeters, if it was a 4, but I liked 7. So I'm going to stick with 7 millimeters. and hit OK. So that should be now our bolt. The next step is to create our washer. Sorry, before we do that, I'm going to label that was a socket. I don't know why I had the caps lock on there. So socket, button, screw. Okay, so I've named my body there so I know what they are. I'm going to turn back on the hex nut, and we're going to use the geometry from this to create our washer. So I want my washer to be around the same width there. So I'm just going to see how wide that is. So inspect, I'm going to select each of these side edges, and that is 20 millimeters wide. I can see just there. So excellent. I'm going to create my washer at 20 millimeters. So for our next one, creating a sketch, and again, I'm going to select the top plane, and I'm going to use the geometry here to create my sketch. So from the center, a circle. I'm going to go just beyond the countersink here and not quite to the edge. So just in there, I think 12, I'm going to change that to 12 millimeters. Oh, may say 13 millimeters for the inside. So I've created a circle here, and then I'm going to create another circle for the outside, and that wanted to be 20. So changing my diameter to 20, hit OK. I'm going to deselect the hex nut so I can see here. I'm going to finish sketch, and I'm going to extrude just the outside part here because I could select them all, but I don't want that middle part selected. So I'm going to select just the outside and extrude that. I'm going to say 3 millimeters, and that will be a new body. Okay, so 3 millimeters. If we have a look at that now on the angle, we've got our washer. 3 millimeters was maybe potentially too thick, so I can change that. I'm going to go back in my timeline, and I'm going to edit feature, and I'm going to change that, let's say, to 2 millimeters. Okay, for the next part, I'm going to create a slight fillet on the edge of the washer, and I'm going to say for that fillet 0.5, and see how that looks. So that's a 0.5 fillet. There, and I'm also going to create a 0.5 on the bottom edge. So that's going to be my washer. I can turn my nut back on there, but it's in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move my washer. I'm going to move it up out of the way here. Hit OK. And now I can turn back on my nut. I'm just going to go home here to view all of those. Okay, so let's have a look at the top view. Pretty happy with that. You can change things however you like. If you want to make any slight adjustments, just going to label that as a flat washer. So I've got my 3 bodies. What I need to do now, if I'm going to make an assembly, is I need to create a component from my body. So if I right click on the hex nut and then go to create component from body, you can see here now I've got components. So I'm going to do the same for the socket screw. socket button screw, create component, and then for the flat washer, create component. Once those are done, for my assembly, I want to ground the screw so that when if I want a functioning assembly so I can see what it looks like, I need to ground one object that doesn't move. So I'm going to right click there and go up to ground. So that's the socket button screw. You can see it's highlighted there. That is now being grounded. That can't move.